It's unfortunately people still, as I can see from the comments, that somebody clearly not knowing what is called, what are Bible code, and give comments we can find in other books and so on, without really checking and see if it works or not. So for this, I bring you here an old one with the title is Truth and Falsehood in Hanukkah Bible Code Tables, basically Whitson, Don Whitson did, and from the other side, see what Professor McKay did. So very, very important, really, as I said, really, it is so unfortunately that people not thinking properly what is the difference between truth and falsehood, and they think, yeah, Bible code you can find in other book. So let us see now what this YouTube tell us. Very interesting table, book, so I got a glimpse into the infinite. And you can see here, this book was done by Professor Rebbe Taralik from Penn University in New York, Professor Reeves from Jerusalem, the University, and Glazerson, Matityahu Glazerson. All of them in Monsi doing this book, and definitely a scientist, Professor Reeves from Arabic, wrote out very interesting analysis about the table. And myself, Midrashim, they are connected with these findings. So made very interesting combination of this thing. What you see here is the finding of the own Whitson. You can see it here, Chanukah, Hashmonai, and Chanukah and the Maccabee and Judah. So you can see here the most important verse is Chanukah. And then Professor Maralik tells us which basic Chanukah table, and then he says the most area compact table arising from this, and he tells us exactly the word Chanukah, this is a verb full writing, because Chanukah means really Chanukah face, encamped on Chafes. If you take the verb away, then we will not have this meaning. Then you have here, besides Chanukah and Maccabee, I've seen red in orange. And then you have the most interesting, by the way, this is the story of Joseph. Joseph, 17 years, this is exactly the connection with Chanukah. Read the portion of the Bayesh of Mikos around this time. Now we exactly read this portion of the book about Joseph, 17 years. He was sold to Egypt. And we know quite well that all this connection to Joseph, the righteous one, is to do with Chanukah. And here you have the Hashmonai, full writing of Hashmonai, with the Rav and the Nune, you see, you have here 7 letters, right? We see later on what happened with the Nakeh, we put only 4 letters. But you have here amazing phenomenon, as we said, it appears only in chapter 35, 7, and only part of it, so very, very significant table. In fact, the skip letter is to 62, which is also a very interesting number, a lot to speak about. Then what you see more, you can see that the statistic of this comes also about, it is 0.00025, right? High statistics. Then he goes and explains exactly more details about this table, ELS, that is the equilateral sequence. This is, and then on the first row of the table, there appears 167 on the left and on the right. So it says this means that the beginning and ending of this of text can be found in Genesis book 1, chapter 36. Unbelievable, 36 also. As to do with Chanukah, kind of far away from it. This is really the same table, but what we found here is together with Professor Reeves. This is really my book, right, which I did, and did it with Professor Reeves. We did the tables to try to find more things. So this is really basically the same thing, Hashmonai and HaChanukah, the Chanukah. And then you have the Maccabee, then you have the Shimon, and I found another one besides Judah, Shimon, Judah, and then you have Matityahu. Interesting that in the Sfardi Sidurim is brought in the days of Matityahu, not Matityahu. And then Matityahu appears parallel to Chanukah, which is very, very simple. Amazingly, here you have also what I found, a question really. The question is, and you can see, is Mi Maccabi, who is the Maccabi, meaning in the Old Torah. And then we are told it was Shimon and Judah, Matityahu. Then down you have what Professor Rich normally says, the minimal one, means the minimal in the Old Torah, every two letters, who Maccabi, what he said. Then it said Shimon, definitely it's a letter after letter, and Judah after letter. Then Matityahu, it means amazing. As you can see on top, 262, this is a skip letter, very interesting, important number. And then you see, the side, Aleph, Genesis, and you can see this mainly in 36, chapter 36 and 37, a little bit of 38. But altogether, it's unbelievable because, as we say, this is a story about Joseph being sold to Egypt, and we know quite well the oldest story of Hanukkah basically is a fighting on Antiochus and the king of Javan. Again, this is a table of Mr. Professor McKay. He tried to show that you have also in other books, yeah? So what he did, he took the book of War and Peace and took the Hebrew translation, took the same number of the letters of Bereshit of War and Peace. He wanted to show that we have also that same thing. Definitely what he found is not the same verse like we found. He found like Hashmani, as you see there without the letter Vav, only 5 letters instead of 7, which makes it not significant because Hashmani with Vav is only one in the Torah. Then Chanukah is without Vav, yeah, so Chanukah is Vav, because Chanukah is Chanukah Pei. Then Adlaka, lightning, so basically what is a lightning, Chanukah, Noah, and Hashmani, but not direct connection, like we see in the story of the own wisdom, Hashmani, and the Maccabees names, Shimon and Yehuda, and then even the locations, then comes a Chanukah, full Chanukah, with Vav, and a clear explanation. Sorry, the Chanukah, what we find on wisdom, we are not put some verse here, some verse here. So also they are missing, Chanukah missing. So in fact, Professor Aralik says that the ELS might be interesting, but he said in the end, doesn't mean anything, because in the last stage, and he says, so he said, but the probabilities with the way of the key are spelled disqualify the table. So this disqualifies because so one can make statistics, definitely with any letter, you can take letters, verses to make statistics, but if it does not meaning, so it's disqualified. And this is really the conclusion which Professor Aralik said. He said because he writes Hashmani, become Hashmanai, Chanukah without Vav. But also if you take the position that was exactly coming in the story Yosef, and exactly the portion that we read before Chanukah, preparing Kapora, that we are going to read this Sabbath. So if you think to yourself, what can be the chances of having such a thing, yeah? So, okay, so definitely, unfortunately, people are amazed. Look, only War and Peace, you have also Chanukah. You can find also in newspapers sometimes nice quotes, but doesn't mean anything. You must have the same full right explanation, the names fully right, Chanukah, Vav, Nun, Hashmonai, is it, and there are 7 letters, and Hashmonai, every letter is abbreviation, like Chet is the sanctification of the month, and Shin is the Sabbath, the X were against, then the Mem is Milas Inquisition, the Nun is Nida, yeah, this is poverty of the blood, then comes Ishut, it means Ishut, man and woman, yeah, and Judaism. I mean, all these 7 letters of Hashmonai has meaning. Now, he takes away from the most important letter, Rav Nun, which makes the table meaningless, yeah? You see, Hashmonai put himself Hashmonai. Hashmonai appears only once in the Torah, I think, and definitely will not appear in War and Peace, it's right in the Father. But apparently not to teach them to show, like, what is the Torah special, you have all the books the same. There's such a great difference in black and white, but what we can do, simple people don't look into things properly, they are amazed, they are impressed. But if you look in this table, Chanukah, which is Dorin Wissenfein, and what the edition that I found, and we did it with Professor Rips, with the more names of Maccabees, and Matityahu, unbelievable, because he's really the right name as he brought. And then having all this coming together in such a small place, in such a small area, but this is a big area, small area. So definitely this makes all these things. So it's so important now we are in Hanukkah. There are so many more tables about Hanukkah, which I hope that I will show you, but it is so important to see, that how false are these things, and this is the one which you found doing this. The one which with Professor Ipsy found, and there's a lot to speak about Tutsis too, this key, because it's very, very significant. Maybe we'll say about this. And here, look, all this comes together, and all are connected. The Azmonai, who was the Chanukah, and who was the Azmonai, Shimon and Yehuda, who was the Maccabees. And in this one of simple, no connection of the Azmonai with HaChanukah, with the Chanukah, because the idea of Chanukah is encapped. The Azmonaim encapped on Chanukah because of the road that we had before, and don't have it. Chanukah is another meaning. And then we have all this coming together, Matityahu, in the right place. The question of the Torah, exactly the story of Yosef. And we know Joseph coming to Egypt, all these things indication to this. Even his written the Gematria of Yosef 156 is like Antiochus 156, and also like the king Yavan, Melech Yavan. It means that clearly all this war was against the holiness of the Jewish people, and the Greeks, they were fighting against this. We didn't want Shabbos, but it's not such a thing, holiness inside, not all the days are the same. There's not such a thing at next to find the moon. You cannot change nature. Then milas, circumcision. What is it? God did not created you without. It means all this they fought against Yosef, against righteousness. This was interesting. The Gematria of Chag Chanukah is under. Under is the letter Kov. The letter Kov which represents Kedusha, holiness. But all the essence of Chanukah is holiness. Holiness of life between men and women. The holiness of the Sabbath. The holiness of everything of life. So, definitely, to having such important and significant table, as we saw Don Bissinger, myself and Professor Rips, it gives you such deep insight into Hanukkah. This is what we are going to celebrate next week. There are many, many more tables about Hanukkah which I'm going to show you. And also maybe I hope we'll explain to you what is 6-2, what is 262. Also a very interesting number. It also far away from being coincident to have this skip of this. So as I said all together, looking in this table, look inside is exactly the right thing that we do. And look from the other side. First of all, having the book, Torah codes, glimpse into the infinite. You can get it in internet, you can get it in the Amazon.com, you can get it by site, by our site, GlazersonBooks.com. There are many other books about Hanukkah which we have there. So, really important because, unfortunately people don't go deep into these things, don't think too much, because they don't want to accept the Torah, they don't want to keep the Torah. The Gentiles don't want to keep the 7 laws of Noah. They forbid abortion, forbid homosexuality. So, therefore they don't look into table properly, and tables are clear to the Torah from heaven. All the great rabbis said, the scientists who became religious Orthodox, like Dr. Rothenberg and Professor, the other professors, quite few of them became, exactly the Professor Michelson, was in Harvard, he was in California, in the University of Tel Aviv, became Orthodox Jews, really, keeping all the Torah because of this, because it's a clear proof. 800 years ago, Rabbi Novachia used it for the birth of the moon. Exactly, Jews knew for many, many years, according to this, what is the first birth of the moon, which is the basis of all the dates now. Unbelievable. And now that the NASA managed to go around the moon, so they also looked for it and they found the different fuse. And not even second, the split of second between what Jews knew for a long time And the same synagogue, every Sabbath, many times, you say the birth of the moon will be, it was divided into not 60, into 1080. So they say it will be on the time so and so portions. Unbelievable. And this is in the Torah code, the 42 letters in the beginning of Genesis 1. Rabbeinu Bachya on the Torah, you have this book. He brings the birth of the moon in Bible code, in Torah code. When you count 42 letters for the letter Bet of Bereshit, you come Bet 2, A, 5, Resh Dalet, 2 and 4 Halakim. Unbelievable. So look properly into this. It's unbelievable to see what you are going to read this Sabbath before Hanukkah. You have exactly in this table. Yeah, Joseph ben 17 Shana, and then clearly indicating that the story of Yosef was the beginning of this troubles that Jews had in Hanukkah. So, as I said, very important and significant table. First of all, redistributing it and really explain to people, you know, that you have a Hashmonai and this one, McKay, was cheating. Okay, he did a nice story with not the right verse. Yeah, you can do many things. You can take verse and make with this a nice table. And this why Dr. Rottenberg said the statistic is not important. What's important, best meeting, like even this year, the best meeting of the Hashmonai and Hanukkah, and minimal, like Mi Maccabi and Hashmonai also, and the location of the Torah, right, and parallel, Matityahu, Hanukkah, parallel, and the names, definitely, all the comparing, look in this one. So you can get this book, then you can see much more in it. And also we have other stories. We have the Twin Towers, we have an interesting table relevant to our time that we did with Professor Rips and Professor Ralik. And also every finding was, and one should know that codes became, they were recognized by science. To be a scientific work is not a game. You know, in Torah point also, Rabbi Zalman Auerbach, the great Torah leader, yeah, said the mitzvah to go into it. And the same thing of Shlomo Fisher. All these great rabbis said it is clear proof Torah from heaven. And even he said to Doron Witzung, who was before learning in Torah, Koilel, he said, yeah, you can, there's no problem to spend so much time to show and to prove scientifically that the quotes are right. So it means that clearly, this is the clear proof, not before Hanukkah. We have to strengthen our belief because it's the purpose of Hanukkah, to strengthen our belief, emunah, because it's the idea of Hanukkah, yeah? And therefore, let us really look into those tables, then we'll understand them properly, especially as we said in this table.